I remember the first time going to prison. Being stripped, getting stripped search and all that stuff didn't really bother me. Because like I said, I knew how to obey orders very easily. I knew how to numb out. If I'm feeling something, I was like a light switch. I could turn on and off at any given time. I trained myself to be that way.
I was scared, definitely scared. I was 19, never done any jail time, I was nervous, What you watch on TV is what you imagine it to be. Sunday came, and they handed him a blue jumpsuit, and they handed me a red jumpsuit. And a red jumpsuit was maximum security. And it was 30-hour lockdown, 2 hours out, 10-hour lockdown, 2 hours out. And I sat there for 2 months.
I felt like I wanted to get away. Maybe it would be a vacation, a good learning experience for me. I needed this. And anyways, I thought this is where I belong. I'm a bad person. I don't belong out here. I deserve to go.
I don't know that any one person is born purely evil. There might be a few. But I think most people are a product of their society. And given what we experience in societies, the abuses happen there. The results of that abuse and the fighting back or the continuum of abuse is what we tend to see of people coming to prison.
I don't really remember her at all. Don't remember having a mom. Just knew my grandma and my dad. And then after she got out of prison and she got me back the first time I seen her, I didn't recognize her at first because she cut her hair and she changed her style and stuff. And when I seen her, that's not what I remembered.
I took a friend of mine to the jail one time. I took him back and showed him the restraint board where we have all these tools. And I showed him and his eyes just clicked open. He just couldn't believe what he was seeing. He couldn't fathom having to take a human being and chain him up so that they couldn't hurt you or themselves.
My mom gave me to my grandma when I was little because my father didn't want me because I was a girl. He was taught, which was silly, is that real men only have boys. We just lived with her, I guess you could say. You know how people could just live together and never really know each other? It was like that. But I remember being 12, my mom threw a big party for my older brother because he became a teenager. And we had a big party that night, and it didn't go very well. I got really drunk off of 1.5 beers. I couldn't even walk. But that was the night that I lost my virginity. My mom raised me to fight all the time. I remember my very first fight. I was scared out of my mind. This girl was chasing me around the block, okay? And I ran into my house and I told my mom that she wanted to fight me. And my mom grabbed me by my shoulders and spun me around and walked me right back out the door and told me, "You get out there and fight her." She said, I didn't like getting drunk and forgetting where I left, or if I left my daughter somewhere. 2 days later, coming out of a blackout saying, "Where's my daughter?" My son, my youngest child, I had to have him in jail. They released me for 5 days. Actually, they released me for 2 days to go to the hospital and have him. But my doctor, I had a talk with him and told him, because I was looking at 15 years. and I told him I may not come back for a long time, and so my doctor was kind enough to call the jail and tell them that they needed to observe me for a few more days to make sure I was okay and stuff.
You know, but at the same time, I found out that when I didn't get my way, I rebelled, you know, and once I learned that, man, seems like from 3rd grade on, I was in detention or, you know, some sort of disciplined behavior, you know, when I didn't get my way. And I don't know if that's caused by the fact of not having a father figure at that young of an age, but the more I look at my life, it seems that that's the way it is. The last thing I remember with the relationship with my dad is him getting pulled away by 2 Thurston County sheriffs and me holding on to his leg, not understanding why he was leaving. I still just didn't understand how serious it was. You know, as I looked in the back of the police car and it says 5 years for, you know, felon with a firearm, you know, right in the window, it didn't hit home. The drugs put such a hard coating over your mind that it takes all reality away.
Well, my mom told me that when I was first born, I lived with her, and she had to go to jail or prison, I don't remember which one, and so my grandma took me. I don't know how old I was. I remember I was probably living with her about when I was 1, because a lot of people from her side of the family knew me when I was 1 year old, and they were telling me when I started talking and when I started walking and stuff like that. So I imagine it was about 1. Yeah, because a lot of people. She went to jail, actually. I can't remember why, but I know she went there for a couple days. It's probably the first one to about. Only remember seeing my mom in jail once, and it was her parents and my older sister and my younger brother, and it was in a big room. So I remember, but with my dad, I remember going with my grandma a lot. I was about 6. I wish she didn't have to go through the drugs and fighting and getting pregnant young, because that's really hard on somebody, being in drugs and fighting and being pregnant, all in. She's my age. She's my age during all of that, and because there's actually some pregnant girls in my school now, and it's hard. Okay, I went to 5 foster homes. In the first and the third place I didn't get attached to, but the rest of them I did. And when they moved me, I cried a lot. The only thing in my mind was, why am I leaving? Why is it just me? The first time I remember seeing my mom is when I was about 6, so I was with my older sister and younger brother, and we went to go see her, and all I remember is we were on a hill, we were playing, all I remember.
There's only one reason why, if you're a correctional officer in a housing unit, and you're at a ratio of 128 to 1, there's only one reason you're in charge. It is because they let you be in charge. And the only reason they let you be in charge is that the offenders have a respect for your position. They have a respect for you as an individual. And they respect the job you do as being fair. If you are not fair, if you abuse your positional authority, if you do those kind of things, you will not be in control.
You just watch out for things. Don't let inmates get behind you. That's a hard one to get over. by the way. I don't like people behind me. I'll sit and face the door. The door is right there, but it's not to my back. But you know, that's part of the job. Paranoia sets in. I didn't like what it was turning my personality into. I'd come home at night and have a daughter and a wife, and I would say, I've had a rough day at work. I don't want to hear anything from either one of you. Because some of the situations are just not fun. Some of the people you book in and the crimes they've done are not fun. You don't want to take the job home with you. You want to leave it right there.
I come to work every day to earn a living, to do the best I can at performing the best quality work for the people of Washington, and to provide a safe environment for incarcerated people to live, and hopefully they will learn from their experiences here, because 95%, actually it's higher than that at this point, 97% of offenders will be releasing to the streets and will be your neighbor.